This is lesson 542, the Mongols. From 1279 to 1368, foreign nomads called the Mongols actually ruled China with their own dynasty. You can see this timeline right here with some names that you'll recognize. For example, it says the dynasties of China from 500 to 1400, and we see the Sui dynasty, the Tang dynasty, the Sung dynasty, and way over here on the right, there's this new one, the Yuan dynasty, and that one's different from the rest. The end of the Golden Age. Despite the wealth and the culture of China during the Tang and Sung dynasties, Chinese were briefly overthrown by the Mongols. Who were the Mongols? The Mongols were among the numerous nomadic tribes who lived in Central Asia. The Mongols lived in the harsh climate of the Eurasian steppe, an area with little rain and extreme temperatures. Mongol life centered on herding animals, especially horses, and Mongols lived as nomadic clans, constantly searching for better pasture lands. As a result of their lifestyle, the Mongols were tough warriors who occasionally raided nearby settlements. From 1200 to 1206, a clan leader named Genghis Khan unified all of the Mongols, and Genghis Khan built a powerful Mongol army and began a 21-year conquest of Eurasia. And you can see the timeline go. This starts at 1206, and it shows the build between 1206 and 1279. And that empire is huge, much bigger than the United States. Under Genghis Khan and later Khans, the Mongols conquered Central Asia, China, Korea, Russia, and the Islamic Abbasid Empire. How big was the Mongol Empire? The Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Eastern Europe. How did the Mongols create this massive empire? Well, Mongol soldiers were excellent horsemen, and they used a saddle that allowed them to shoot arrows while riding. Genghis Khan was a brilliant military organizer and strategist, but his greatest tactics were a combination of terror, mercy, and deception. Mongol armies sometimes put felt dummies on thousands of horses to make their numbers appear huge. Towns that surrendered without a fight were spared. If an enemy refused to surrender, Genghis Khan ordered the death of the entire population. So the Mongol reputation convinced many towns to surrender to Genghis Khan without a fight. In countries that have not yet been overrun by them, everyone spends the night afraid that they may appear there too. From an Arab historian. The impact of the Mongol Empire. The Mongols were merciless in battle, but tolerant as rulers. Mongol Khans, rulers, often adopted parts of the culture of the people they conquered. In the West, Mongols converted to Islam. In the East, Mongols embraced Chinese culture. Mongol Khans, kings, brought stability and order to Eurasia. The era between the mid-1200s and the mid-1300s is called the Pax Mongolica, the Mongol Peace. During the Pax Mongolica, the Mongols guaranteed safe passage across the Silk Road. And as a result, trade and cultural diffusion between Europe and Asia increased. Chinese technologies like gunpowder and the magnetic compass reached Europe. But diseases like the Black Death reached Europe also. After the death of Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire was divided into 4 major khanates, each ruled by a son or grandson of Genghis Khan. The khanates all helped to control and maintain that Silk Road. The Mongol destruction of the city of Kiev increased the importance of Moscow in Russia. The Mongols were also the first non-Muslims to rule over an Islamic empire. But the most significant Mongol Khanate was the Great Khan of China. In 1279, Genghis Khan's grandson, Kublai Khan, became the first foreign leader to rule China. Kublai Khan founded a new dynasty of conquest in China, the Yuan dynasty. Kublai Khan enjoyed Chinese culture so much that he moved the Mongolian capital to China. But Kublai Khan excluded Chinese bureaucrats from serving in high government offices. Instead, he relied on foreigners to run his government. Kublai Khan proved to be a good emperor for China. Under Kublai Khan, foreign trade with China increased due to the Pax Mongolica. He built roads and extended the Grand Canal to help improve transportation in China. In 1275, a European merchant named Marco Polo visited Kublai Khan's court. And Kublai Khan was so impressed with Marco Polo that he employed him in the Yuan government for 17 years. And when Marco Polo returned to Italy in 1292, his stories of China increased European demand for Asian trade and encouraged European exploration. By the time of Kublai Khan's death in 1294, the entire Mongol Empire was beginning to grow weak. In 1330, the Mongols lost control of Persia. In 1370, the Mongols lost control of Central Asia. And in 1480, the Russian people under Ivan III gained independence from Mongol rule. But the biggest loss was in 1368. The Chinese overthrew Mongol rule and established their own Ming dynasty.